If you've just landed your first job as a software developer, congratulations. But let me guess, you opened up the company's main project, looked at the repository, and immediately panicked. It's a legacy system. There are thousands of files, zero documentation, and you have no idea where to even start. Welcome to the reality of legacy code. These are the most common questions and scenarios I see junior developer face when dealing with a legacy codebase that's been running for over 6 years. Let's look at a classic ASP.NET Core MVC example. A new developer gets a simple task, like adding a new field to a create user page. They think, okay, the page URL is /user/create, so I just need to edit the create.cshtml file. But when they look in the folder, there's no create view file. They get stuck and ask a senior where to find it. The trick here is to look at the controller's create_action method. The method returns something like return view edit, meaning it's actually reusing the edit.cshtml file. So, don't just rely on folder structures and naming conventions. Follow the execution in the controller to see which view is actually being rendered. Usually, developers look straight at the local configuration files, like appsettings.json. If the connection string isn't there, they panic. But here's the reality. If it's missing, it means the architecture is prioritizing security. The strings are likely stored in a cloud secret manager, like Azure Key Vault or AWS Secrets Manager. Get comfortable with how enterprise apps handle secrets, because you won't always find a plain text password in the repo. Another tip, sometimes the string stored in appsettings.json is encrypted. If you reference that value directly and get an error, it's because it's not the real value. Look around the existing codebase to see if there's a decryption method or a general utility handling those configuration values. A junior gets a task to send a notification email. They find a send email method in service A, but later they find the exact same method in service B. They get confused and ask, which one do I use? Welcome to legacy code. 5 years ago, developer 1 wrote it in service A. 3 years later, developer 2 didn't bother checking and wrote it again in service B. The answer to which one do I use is neither. This is your chance to shine. Extract that logic into a shared general service and update the old files to point to your clean, centralized method. Let's say a junior needs to set up a new email notification. They just hard-code the subject line and the email body directly into their C# method. In a simple tutorial, you might do it this way, but in enterprise app, we rarely hard-code text like that. If you check the existing methods, you'll usually find a pattern, like the system pulling email templates dynamically from a database. So, always find out how the system currently handles a task and copy that pattern. Control F is your best friend here. A junior is calling an old method that has an optional parameter. They see it's optional, assume they don't need to pass a value, and move on. This is exactly how bugs end up in production. Here is a harsh truth. Legacy code rarely is good comment or summary. If you're not sure whether you need to pass a value, check the references. By looking at the other 15 places in the project where that method is used, you can reverse engineer the logic. You'll see exactly when you need to pass that parameter and when you don't. The best documentation in a legacy project is the existing code itself. If checking the references still leaves you unsure, then you ask a senior. Working on legacy code is frustrating and it is messy, but it is also where you level up and learn how to be a real software engineer. You stop relying on step-by-step guides and start acting like an investigator. What is the worst piece of legacy code you've ever had to fix? Let me know in the comments. If you need an auto-caption tool, I recommend CaptionBolt, which I personally use it for my shorts videos. And here's some other developer tips you might be interested in. I'll see you there.